Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now this is the i7-2600 non-K. It's the baby brother of the naturally overclockable K variant of the chip with the same name, and as such isn't as popular. So is it still worth it? Well, if you don't care about the overclocking, don't mind the slightly weaker integrated HD 2000 graphics, and are trying to stick to a tighter budget, it may just be for you. The realisation that this was 8 years old certainly hit me hard today, but I thought I'd give this a chance to show you why or why not it might still be worth considering for all of you budget orientated system builders out there. This is the 8-year-old CPU versus 8 AAA titles. So I don't want to spend too long on this, as we did briefly check out the i7-2600K last year, but because of the continuing price decline of these older 1155 chips, I thought it was worth seeing how the 2600 did when paired with a GTX 1070, a GPU that's also still dropping in price thanks to Nvidia's more recent releases. The sort of thing I was looking out for today was whether or not the processor maxed out at 100% usage in any of these games. You know, did it hold back this GPU at all, or did it struggle in today's modern titles? I've come across a few arguments online regarding whether or not 4 cores are still enough, or whether 6-core processors are the new quad cores, so to speak. In my opinion, quad cores are still fine, especially ones with 8 threads like this one. There were a couple of instances in the first game tested today, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where the CPU usage did shoot up to 100% and stay there for a couple of seconds, but I've noticed that this happens in the same spot in the benchmark with my i5-8400 and Ryzen 5 1600, so it's just a game thing. The previous Assassin's Creed entry also played havoc on some quad-core CPUs. Aside from that, as I continue to roll the benchmarks on screen here, you'll notice how the i7 actually seems like a very good pairing for the 1070. Sure, a newer CPU will mean a higher frame rate in some cases, but for a solid 1080p 60fps experience, the i7-2600 will still suffice. This is what I also mentioned yesterday in regards to the 1155 platform as a whole. It's a platform whereby a lot of bargains can be found, and an ideal hunting ground for anyone searching for decent price to performance. Not to mention, if any of you have a pre-built 1155 machine, of which there are certainly many of about, on places like eBay for example, a processor like this would make an ideal drop-in upgrade, as the K version of the chip, while it will still probably work, won't be of any benefit, as you probably couldn't make use of the overclocking potential on a cheap OEM board. I do think that if you're building a cheap gaming system from scratch and want to use an i7, then yes, the 2600K will be the better choice, if you plan to get a more expensive motherboard, as it can be overclocked to say 4.5 GHz with relative ease and keep up with a lot of newer chips. But if you don't have a decent board, or you need to upgrade that aging i3-2120 in your OEM Dell or HP, a 2600 will still transform that machine, and that's why it deserves recognition in its own right, despite its bigger brother getting the majority of the attention. And with all that said, we've come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you run with one of these i7s in your system, the 2600 or the 2600K, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how well it's doing for you and what graphics card you have it paired with. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, leave a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.